This week on the Spotlight, Paul Konerko and his final Sox Fest conversation. And we have trivia, championship caliber, Salernos. And then we flash back to 1989 when the Blackhawks were brawling the Red Wings. And then we have another flashback, and it's going to be a very young 23-year-old Frank Thomas. This week on the Spotlight. Check out my website, benkowski.com, for my weekly article and up-to-the-minute trivia sites. It's the 25th year of the Lansing Floral Sports Spotlight. Flowers for every imaginable occasion at Lansing Floral Shop. Call them at 708-474-1212. They deliver. You better get to Jack Desmond's Irish Pub, because I'm going to see you there. Friday, March 14th at 6 p.m. for the trivia game. You can eat, drink, and play at 10339 South Ridgeland. It's a fun time, a great atmosphere. Jack Desmond's and my trivia game, March 14th. Wax On, Wax Off, a great salon and spa for men's haircuts and women too. 1044 West Taylor Street. I go there, you should too. With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. T-Wax Company has real estate investments. You can buy Chicagoland properties and make some money. Profit opportunity since 1985. Call my friend Mr. Thomas at 773-456-3057. Real estate investments make money. Call Mr. Thomas. You've got to get to Mr. C's Midway Bar. They're open till 2 a.m. every day. Best Bloody Marys for 65 years. Great neighborhood prices at 4654 West 63rd Street. It's a fun place. Watch the Blackhawks, Bulls, you name it. Mr. C's, 4654 West 63rd. Calabria Imports is a great place to get food. Of course, Italian food with their deli. Mention this TV ad for 10% off. They have catering, sandwiches, 1905 West 103rd Street. The last time I was there, I got some ham. I got all kinds of other accessories at Calabria Imports. Wax On, Wax Off, a great salon and spa. I go there, you should too. Call them at 312-226-1473. Men's cuts, women head to toe. Nails, 1044 West Taylor Street in Chicago. And they even have great hours, open each day at 10 a.m. Amelia's Bar and Grill. They're open for lunch and dinner daily. Private parties and catering. A unique mixture of fine dining and Mexican specialties brought to you by the great chef Eusebio Garcia. It's easy to reach at 46th and Halsted. I've enjoyed all my experiences there, and you will too, at Amelia's Bar and Grill. One of the greatest White Sox ever, Paul Konerko's wrapping it up this year, and he's willing to do so in a reduced role. So he'll be advising young players and not playing that much. And he talks about that concept right now.
Playing today, you're pinch hitting here. Game's 10-0. We need you to take this guy's at bat. Whatever it is, I'm game for that. I went over all the scenarios in my head before I agreed to do it. So for me, I feel like there's nothing that can be asked of me that I'm above, you know. Because I think that's where there's this, talking to guys who have done this role that have gone from like playing for a long time and then as starting players, then moved into the bench, or moved into more of a limited role. That's the stuff you got to accept. So that's there's nothing that can be asked to me where I'm going to be out there going, geez, why am I, you know, I've done this in the game, I shouldn't be out here right now. I've gotten over that already, gotten all over that, because I wouldn't have said yes to it, because that would have been a bad combination. So as far as the playing stuff, it's whatever they want me to do. I could go a week without playing. I could play 3 days in a row. Some guy could be having a bad go of it. they want me to grab this game against a right-hander or whatever it is. You know, I don't have any agenda as far as, because I'm not playing for anything other than just what's in front of me, because I know this is it. So I'm just going to try to have fun with it each day and try to be good when they ask me to get in there. And then when I'm not in there, just, you know, keep an eye on everything else and just help guys. We got a lot of guys that are driven, that are young guys that are really driven guys, especially a couple of guys that we traded for. So they know what they want to do, and they're going to be good. But you know, every team kind of has some older guys that have been through it all, and I've on the other side of that now. So, and I've done it wrong a lot, so I know what that looks like too. So just be there for those guys, and that's kind of the way I see it. You know.
How much of this role is a mentoring role? Like you guys had a hitting clinic not too long ago. Did you find yourself mentoring maybe some of the newer guys, younger guys?
I mean, I was just there for 2 days, and it was really, I mean, it was really low key. I mean, there was some work going on in the cages, but you know, meeting, you know, Todd, and I met with him in the off season. That was probably a big chunk of this, of coming back, of meeting with him and having a kind of a good, you know, we saw eye to eye, I think, in a lot of hitting things. Not that mattered for him, but it mattered for me, because I know if I have some downtime, you talk to guys, inevitably it gets to hitting, and it's nice that you're going to have him there where you kind of know the message is going to be the same, and I'm not going to feel afraid to say, because I know we're coming from the same place, I think. So that was a big part for me, and I think that exists. But once the season starts, I mean, you don't know. Right now, everybody, you know, you always envision you're going to have a great season. Everybody does. But once the season starts, I mean, this guy goes this way a little bit, this guy, you never know how it's going to go. All I can hope is that when I get in there, I do well, and then I have other times where I can elevate a guy and uplift him to be better that day. You know, there could be something I could say to him at 3 o'clock in the afternoon that gets him through that one game, because I had guys do that to me. So, you know, that would just, you got to take that stuff as it comes. But I also know that's a big part of what I'm going to do here. So I can't come in and drop the ball on that. That's the way I look at it. That's a big part of my job.
Well, in an era where people bounce around at the end of their careers, you get to finish where you've been for all these years in a kind of a grouping with people like Rivera and Jeter, with long tenure in the American League. What does that feel like?
I mean, it was great to have the opportunity to do that. I mean, I feel like what I'm doing here is something that tons of players have done at kind of the end of their career for the last year or two, or whatever it might have been. But the difference with this one is that I'm staying here to do it, whereas most times a guy leaves to go to another organization, does exactly what I'm going to do this year. And it kind of makes sense because he's in another uniform. So I think as long as people can wrap their head around that, from looking at it, it's really no different than what a lot of guys do. It just happens to be in the same spot that you kind of were the guy for a long time, which is kind of different. But I don't know. I guess, I mean, I don't know what goes into. It's definitely nice, because if I think I would have finished here. It was either going to be come back for this year or be done after last year. I mean, there was a chance I could have gone and done exactly what I'm doing here somewhere else. But
well, we wish you luck, Paul Konerko, in your final season. I urge fans to get out to the ballpark and say their sweet farewells. And we'll be back right after these messages. You have to get to the Lansing Floral Shop.
Open at 8 a.m. daily. Besides a great array of live flowers, they have custom silks, Bridgewater candles. They want you to plan your parties early at a wide delivery area. They're located at 3420 Ridge Road in Lansing, or you can call 708-474-1212. Weddings, funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, and guys, try the No Reason flower. Believe me, it works. Lansing Floral Shop. Give them a call, 708-474-1212.
You've got to get to the Cove. Benkowski Trivia, Wednesday, March 12th, 8 p.m. Great people, great game. 1750 East 55th Street, right by the lake. The Cove is a fun place. You will enjoy yourself. A very interesting crowd. March 12th, 8 p.m., 1750 East 55th. Cornelio's Mobile Auto Glass. They come to you. You call them at 908-6081. Lowest prices, new and used. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. They'll do your windshield, back window, or sides. They did a great job for me. They'll do a great job for you, and you'll be amazed at how quickly they come in and finish it up. Cornelio's Mobile Auto Glass. For a great meal, get to Amelia's Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner daily, private parties and catering, a unique mixture of fine dining and Mexican specialties brought to you by the great chef Eusebio Garcia. They're at 46th and Halsted. I've had great meals there, and you will too. Amelia's Bar and Grill, 46th and Halsted. We're back in the spotlight at Benkowski Trivia Championship 2013 at Salerno's. And let's take it away with a question. And I think the first team with a chance at it will be Morningwood from Chicago Ridge,
TV
Illinois.
show Girls, featuring agonizingly intimate laughs. And the star and producer of the show is? Lena Dunham is correct. 140. Morningwood, 1520. Quality show. We go to, I'd love if she was a sponsor. We go to, we're still here. Number 46 single of 2013. Famous female with two names saying, "Work Bitch." Britney Spears, of course. 160. 860. And Funky Monkey. Blue Jasmine is a movie featuring this actress, CB. Five seconds. Going. Catherine Brock. Interesting. We go to Jax. Kate Blanchett is correct. All right. It's a 180 value. Brings you to 1280. Team Cobblestone. 5-word answer. TV show. Kate Mulgrew rules the prison. Orange is the new black is correct. Wow. No hesitation there. So you bump to 1,600. And with just 3 questions left per team, these are the scores. You got Shy Sharks and J&B at 1,750. You got Team Cobblestone at 1,600. You got Morningwood at 1,520. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got Jax at 1,280. You got We're Still Here at 860. And Funky Monkey 430. But if you get 3 right, anything can happen. All right, I'll clean up the board. You can take one last break. A slightly different format for the end of the game. I'm going to tell, here's what we're going to do. I want to tell you up front how this is going to work. I don't want one team to have 3 weeks to mull over the answer and the possibilities. So each team will learn the topics seconds before they play it. And here's how that's going to work. 1, 2, or 3 of your players will come up and see me before your selection. I'll tell you what's left. And then you go back to your team after you've selected, and you'll play it immediately. But this cuts down on the advantage of later teams working it out with a pencil or otherwise. All right, so take your break. We're going to try this format. I kind of like it. We start the final round with the Shy Sharks. You know where they are, back over by there. You did the Roman numeral thing, right? Okay, just making sure I had it right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, playing Random Super Bowls. Let's hear it for the Shy Sharks. Question number 1. Super Bowl at the Pontiac Silverdome, January 82. Who beat who? San Francisco beat Cincinnati is correct for 500 points. Question number 2. 75 points combined in Super Bowl 29. Who beat who? 49ers over Chargers is correct. You have 1,500. Question number 3. In the 2000s, the lowest scoring Super Bowl and the exact score, who won, who lost? Five seconds. Going. Out of time.
And we'll have more next week on the Spotlight.
With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. Go play at Red Shoes Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski in Alsip, featuring 16 Brunswick Gold Crown pool tables, drop fluorescent lighting fixtures, and the fabulous Grade of Cloth. Call 708-388-3700.
And now video gaming is available at Red Shoes from open till close. And don't forget, the Illinois Lottery too.
That's Red Shoe Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski.
Little Frank's Pizzeria and Bar. Easy to reach, 6353 West 79th Street. On Thursdays, $1.50 Miller and Old Style. Trivia alternate Thursdays at 8 p.m. They have $15 large pizza and pitcher all day, every day. Little Frank's on 79th. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie does tune-ups, transmission, AC service, engine repair, tire repair, oil changes, and emission system repair. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and they've done a great job for me. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie.
We're back on the Benkowski Sports Spotlight, obviously at the Chicago Stadium, where a crowd of over 17,000, ultra fired up, is celebrating the Blackhawks' 5-3 victory over the first-place Detroit Red Wings in a game, well, even though it was the 74th regular season game, Kim, they're acting like it's Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Pat, it's the wildest game I've seen in a long time. It's literally a bloodbath out here. In the first 2 periods, there were 33 penalties, 8 majors. It's insane.
Well, insanity would be a good word to describe it. The Blackhawks had, at last count, 5 players bleeding on the ice. Literally, they've been taken off for repairs. Most of them have returned. But the Blackhawks continue their domination of Detroit in the regular season. It could be a playoff preview. And the affair got fairly lengthy here tonight.
The fans are here real late tonight. The third period didn't start till after 10 o'clock, and that hasn't happened in a long time.
It's a good time to go downstairs now and talk to some of the principals in this incredible warfare.
Talking with Bob McGill following one of the more hard-fought games you'll see in a long time, an impressive win over Detroit, and talk about going toe-to-toe with a club. You guys really did with them.
Well, I think, it was a pretty emotional game tonight, and, I think that a lot of guys are thinking that we might, possibly be meeting them in the playoffs, and, we had to show them that, if we're going to meet them in the playoffs, this is the last game before we see them in the playoffs, and we have to set the tone, and it was a hard-fought game by both teams, and I think that we came out on the top, and it was a really good win.
Someone was commenting earlier about a lot of blood on the ice, literally and figuratively, and I must compliment you. You had one of the better go-rounds of the evening in terms of fights. In fact, in terms of length of fight and continuous action, that was on the highlight reel. Could you describe a little bit about your bout?
Well, I don't know. I think it was pretty much a pretty good brawl, I guess, but Chris King's a pretty tough kid, and I mean, it's one of those things that our team wasn't going too well, so I tried to maybe go out there and pick us up a little bit, and it seemed to work a little bit, I guess. And I think that both teams got a lot of tough players, and if it comes down to playing them in the playoffs, I think it's going to be a long, hard-fought series.
Now, strategically, once the gloves are down and you're heavily into it, I mean, you don't have a chance to pace yourself, even if the bout is long. What are you thinking after you've thrown about 20 or 22 roundhouses and the thing's still going on?
Well, you just got to keep thinking, keep throwing. And I was pretty tired at the end. When I went to the penalty box, I had a hard time finding the bench. So, but yeah, it's worth it. It makes you worth your 5 minutes when you go out there and do something like that, I guess.
Are you aware of the crowd response when something like that happens? I mean, I know you're keyed up about what you've just done, but can you hear the roar from the crowd after a successful bout like that and realize how the fans are interacting with you?
Oh, yeah. Like, when the fight was over, when you break apart, I mean, you can hear the fans cheering, and, it makes you feel pretty pumped up and stuff, and helps you get over to the penalty box when you're feeling tired. So it was really good. Like, I think the crowd's been really, supporting us lately, and like we haven't played a lot at home, very good games at home. Like we're only a couple games above 500 now at home, and I think that with our 4 remaining games, we got to keep playing hard and give them something to cheer about, and hopefully it's going to carry through into the playoffs.
Going into your final weekend coming up, do you feel that the club has gotten over that hump though, and you have some momentum, and you may have yourself a 4 or 5 game winning streak going into the playoffs?
Well, I certainly hope so, Pat. I think that we went through a lot of rough times there and lately, and I think that this weekend was just something we needed to really come out with 2 wins, and I think it's a big boost for our team, and it's going to carry us through for a long ways, I think, having these 2 wins tonight.
When we were going good there for a while, we were putting 5, 6, 7 unbeaten games together in a row, and that's what we'd like to do again. And the only way to do that is just to keep winning. So it's amazing how this thing snowballs, your confidence, and sometimes you start winning games you don't even deserve to win when you get that confidence.
Steve, you said you worked real hard on that play, but you also sounded like you were pretty surprised that everything was all set up there for the goal.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the 2-on-2, so I'm not too sure what Wayne Presley and Dirk Graham were up to. But well, like I said, when I turned it on, whoever was covering me, and I think it was Stevie Yzerman, he must have been towards the end of a shift because he just kind of gave up on me, and I found myself all alone in front of the net. Stefan kicked the rebound right out to me, and it was nice and flat, and I just shelved it.
Nice and flat, just the way you want.
And now, that continuation of Conroyd's media accessibility is that he's a broadcaster himself. And we'll be back with more on the Spotlight after these messages.
I eat on the pasta twice just...
Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria at Grand and Racine is the place to go before United Center Pavilion, Bulls, Hawks, Cubs, and Sox too. Dine in or carry out with great family recipes, including homemade pastas, steaks, seafood, a great fun bar area. Meet people, have a tremendous time. At Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria, Grand and Racine, you'll find a great variety of foods for you to enjoy at Salerno's.
Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie is great. Tune-ups, transmissions, AC service, engine repair, tire repair, oil changes. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. They do a great job for me, and they'll do a great job for you. They're quick, and they don't charge an arm and a leg. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair, 108th and Kedzie. Riley's Trick Shop. Of course, they had Halloween costumes. They still have football strip cards, custom T-shirts. Just ordered some myself. Gag gifts, tricks, jokes, magic kits. Their new location is 8086 West 111th Street in Palos Hills. Check them out, Riley's Trick Shop. They also have Santa stuff for you late-minute shoppers. Riley's Trick Shop, a great place with a lot of cool stuff. Reggie's is a great place with tons of music, interesting people and staff, great food and drink at 21st and State. And amongst the cool things they have, Benkowski Trivia. All shows are now Monday at 6 p.m. Reggie's, 21st and State, a fun place. Come play in the area's classiest billiard center, Jukebox Billiards, 7910 Calumet Avenue in Munster, 2 blocks south of 8094. Selling the most famous names of pool tables and billiard equipment, specializing in table recovery and moving of tables. A complete pro shop with the most brand names of cues and cases.
Celebrating over 20 years, excellence, top billiard tables, the place where the action is, Jukebox Billiards, 7910 Calumet in Munster.
We're back on the spotlight, and Frank Thomas is in the Hall of Fame, or he's about to be inducted later this year. And here's an early interview I did with him.
What's the feeling like here now with everybody pounding the ball?
It's a great feeling to come to the ballpark knowing that, you know, the team, you don't carry any ball club, and that's great for any player to know that he's not carrying a ball club. We got a lot of guys 1 through 9 can carry his team any given night. So I think the focus right now is just staying consistent and all of us just playing as hard as possible.
Can you liken this to any other sports experiences of yours where you feel things coming together, you slow start, but then it's all going on all cylinders?
I've had this feeling before on a couple past ball clubs I've been on, and, you know, I just think it's a matter of time for any team to get going, and I think right now we're riding a streak, and we just got to continue to play hard. That's the only thing we can't control, and that's our effort on the field. We can't sit back and worry about Minnesota because they're a great team too, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen in this final 2 months.
Are you aware that when it comes down to crunch time, you play them something like 6 times out of your last 2 weeks?
That'd be great, and hopefully we'll be right there. I would love to be tied going into that series, so, I mean, the pressure could be really on.
Well, as long as we're speculating about the end of the year, your buddy Bo is traveling with the team now every day and is here all the time. Some people have speculated that to activate him for the playoffs, he'd have to play the last week of August. You think that's a fair target?
You know, we can't really worry about that right now, but Bo's doing really well. It's very encouraging to see him running right now. I saw him out today, and I was very impressed. I mean, he was pulling the strength trainer along with him, and I've seen him out on the football field do those things, so I think his health is coming around, and he could be a positive influence on his ball club.
A definite steroid offender and a guy who lied to Congress, Rafael Palmeiro. When he played for Texas, I talked to him, and I don't know what else to say. Just look at it and tell me what you think.
Last year, I think you firmly established yourself as a top 10 kind of hitter, all-star caliber player, and I'm just trying to find out if, you know, after a year like you had last year, pitchers are changing their approach to you at all, because, I mean, the numbers don't indicate that you're having any problem.
I don't know if they've made any adjustments. I feel like they're still pitching me the same way. You know, they try to come inside every once in a while, you know, off speed. That's really what everybody's doing. But you know, I just try to stay back and see the ball and try to put the bat on it.
Many of the Chicago fans know you as part of that incredible trio in college with Will Clark and Bobby Thigpen on that super college powerhouse team. But maybe a lot of people don't know that you're one of 3 people who've been active in the major leagues in the last 5 years or so, born in Cuba. Can you briefly tell us a little bit about your transition to the United States, or were you too young to remember that?
Well, I was only 5 years old when I came over here, so I can't say much about that. You know, I've lived most of my life here. You know, I grew up in Miami, so I never really had a chance to see what it was like back in Cuba, so I don't know what to say.
This week's show has been brought to you by the Lansing Floral Shop. Call for your flowers at 708-474-1212. Huck Finn, a great wide-ranging menu, along with donuts and ice cream. Open 24 hours at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Imprint Graphics, leaders in booklet, perfect bound saddle stitch, very competitive pricing. Call 708-396-1010.